Hello and welcome to our webinar in which Giulia Taveggia from CSIL, a market research and information company, will talk us through the key developments in the World Mattress Market in 2020. This is part of a series of webinars which we will be holding over the course of 2021 as we lead up to our UTEC Middle East, Africa and Middle East Foam and Polyurethane event in Dubai in October. UTEC events, as I'm sure many of you know, are great ways for the polyurethane industry to meet their peers, exchange ideas and make new business contacts. The event we have scheduled for October takes the format into a new and exciting region for the UTEC shows, into the Middle East and Africa. So, I'm Simon Robinson. I edit Urethanes Technology International magazine and also utec-polyurethane.com, possibly the snappiestly named website on the internet at the moment. I'm just here to host the event and to tell you a little bit of housekeeping, which is coming up now. You can listen to this webinar using either your computer audio or a dial-in connection. If you want to use the dial-in connection, then please check the information that came with your invitation to the event. Now, assuming that you can all hear me, please put your phone or computer on to mute. That helps all, really. And unlike other webinars in this series, we won't be taking questions at the end. If you want to have a burning question and you need to talk to Giulia about it directly, then please email her. If you want to do that anonymously, please send your email through me and I'll pass it on and won't tell where it came from, basically. The webinar is being recorded and registered participants will receive a link to the webinar within a few days of its completion. The webinar will also be posted online at my website for a year. Okay, now, for the reason we're all here, it's not to see me, it's to listen to Giulia, and she's going to explain some of the key trends and drivers in the world mattress industry in 2020. Thank you, Giulia.
Hello, thank you, Simon, for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. I'm grateful to UTEC and Simon Robinson for this opportunity to take part in this webinar, and thank you to all of the participants. I'm Giulia Taveggia, CSIL partner and researcher for the mattress sector. Today, I will present some of the latest results of CSIL research activity in the mattress industry. First of all, I would like to introduce CSIL and our activity for those who do not know. Established in Milan in 1980, the Center for Industrial Studies is an independent research and consulting company specialized in applied economic research. CSIL is the leading research institute worldwide for market analysis in the furniture and furnishing sector. Beside a large number of multi-client reports, CSIL offers a wide range of custom research in response to company-specific needs. Since its establishment, CSIL has been monitoring the furniture and furnishing sectors, providing statistical data and forecasts for the world's main markets, and consolidating an international network of key contacts worldwide, supporting companies in their process of selection and analysis of market opportunities on a global scale. CSIL experts keep monitored 100 countries worldwide and more than 6,000 companies every year, gathering information both from official sources and interviews with sector players conducted on the field. Okay, my presentation today is divided into two parts. I will start from a global perspective, as we believe that a global view is necessary to fully understand the market and its trends when approaching this sector. Then I will present some of the principal and the latest result of our research activity about the e-commerce in the world mattress industry. Okay, let's start from the world mattress production. According to CSIL figures, world mattress production has grown to about 29 billion US dollars in 2019, increasing by over 40% in the last decade. In 2020, our preliminary estimates show a decrease of less than 5%, a decrease that is smaller than for other furniture segments, driven mainly by two factors. That are the increasing consumers' focus on the importance of comfort and better sleep, and an overall growth of e-commerce channel in both traditional and emerging mattresses. This factor sustained the mattress demand also in 2020. In terms of values, this slide shows the breakdown of worldwide mattress production in values on the left side of the slides and in quantities in volumes on the right side of the slide. In terms of values, Asia and Pacific is the main manufacturing area with a 44% share of world mattress production. In 2020, the area performed better than the rest of the world, mainly driven by the faster recovery of the Chinese industry, which is the largest one in the area, together with a good performance also of other important mattress exporters. In particular, I'm referring to Indonesia and Vietnam. The second largest producing area in the world is North America, which accounts for nearly 30% of the worldwide production. Europe follows with an incidence of 20% on total production, and followed by South America. In 2020, both the North American and the European mattress industry were challenged by price increases in chemical raw materials, supply chain disruptions, and sourcing raw materials and components. In terms of volumes produced, Asia Pacific is by far the largest producing area, accounting for nearly half of world mattress production, followed by Europe and North America. I'm sorry. Okay. Now, looking at the worldwide mattress consumption, this slide shows the 10 largest mattress consuming countries in 2010 on the left and 2019 on the right. As you can notice, a large share of world mattress consumption takes place in only 5 countries: the US, China, India, Brazil, UK, and Germany, which cover approximately 70% of global consumption. It is interesting to notice the increasing importance of the 2 largest markets, the US and China, which together account for about 60% of the worldwide mattress market, and also registering the best performances among the 10 largest markets. United States is a rich market which amounted to about 8.5 billion US dollars and growing by 6% yearly in the last decade. Disrupting factors such as the growth of online are affecting the market and the competitive system. Is it worth noting that also the US is also the largest importer of mattresses worldwide, with import flows continuously increasing in the last decade, with the exception of 2019 when imports from China decreased dramatically. But we will cover this topic later. China, of course, is remarkable, and it shows the most impressive increase in terms of mattress consumption over the last 10 years, driven mainly by a faster urbanization process, which increased and driven the demand also in the 3rd and 4th tier cities. And also this trend is supported by an increasing presence of foreign players which enter the markets. For 2020, the Chinese mattress market is the only one, according to our preliminary estimate, showing a non-decreasing trend among the 60 countries studied by CSIL. Lastly, I would like to point out that India is the third market which, with a progressive and slow growth of the organized sector and move to versus higher price products, increased the mattress consumption by 4% yearly in the last 10 years. Now here we would like to show the latest results about the mattress international trade on the left side, and the most important trade flows on the right side of the slide. Generally, we have to say that the market openness is relatively low if compared also to the other furniture segments. Around 18% of world mattress production in value is traded internationally, whilst in the furniture sector, the value is 33%. This is due to several factors, that, like the country's peculiarities in terms of product preference and the presence of both own manufacturing plants or licenses or subsidiaries in major markets. However, it is worth noting that the trade of mattresses increased in the last 10 years, also in 2020, reaching a value of $5.3 billion in 2020. The development of new distribution channels, of course, in particular the e-commerce and the evolution of product features, I'm referring here to, of course, to the bed-in-a-box, are among the major drivers of this increase. As you can notice from the graph, a large increase occurred in 2018, mainly due to a significant growth of US mattress imports from China. But starting from 2019, this trend changed dramatically, and mainly due to the trade frictions between US and China, and also more recently between US and other 7 countries, which impacted particularly the mattress sector, and will pose and are posing further uncertainty on the development of the international mattress trade in the coming years. Looking now on the right side of the slides, we can notice that the role of the different trade flows in the global mattress industry. And it is clear that more than 30% of the international trade is made across EU countries, international EU 27 trade. And the trade flow between Asia and North America is the second largest flow, and also the most increasing in the last decade. Okay, starting from the EU mattress trade. This slide highlights the import penetration of extra EU countries on the European mattress demand and the propensity to export to extra EU. As you can notice from the graph, the value of exports below is higher than imports, thus making the EU a net exporter of mattresses. However, it is worth notice that the largest share of mattresses traded is realized within the EU countries. Indeed, the import penetration of extra EU countries on the European mattress market is growing, as you can notice, but still represents a limited share over the EU mattress market, less than 10%. And the main sourcing countries are China and Turkey. The role of exports is driving the EU mattress production, but is still remain concentrated on the EU market. And the top partners extra Europe include the United States, South Korea, and Australia. Now, looking at the US mattress trade, these slides show its development in the last 10 years. as you can immediately notice, the value of imports is by far higher than exports, making the US a net importer of mattresses. Also in 2020, the US mattress imports registered a double-digit growth over 2019, with important change in terms of suppliers. The United States confirmed its third position as mattress importer across the 60 countries studied by CSIL, and showing an increasing market openness over the last 10 years. Indeed, 14% of the US market is satisfied by imported products. On the right side of the slide, you can notice that the propensity to export is low. Only about 2% of the mattress production is exported, and this value is also constant over the time. Okay, now have a look at the changes of the suppliers of mattresses to the US. As anticipated before, the figures change greatly in the last 10 years. Trade friction between the US and China occurred starting from 2018 and 2019. Causing a dramatic decrease of US imports from China. As you can notice, in 2010 and 2015, China was by far the largest supplier of mattresses to the US. But in 2020, the share dramatically decreased. And in parallel, there has been a rapid growth of imports from other South Asian countries, such as Indonesia, Vietnam, and Malaysia are the most important one, where some of the leading Chinese mattress manufacturers and export-oriented companies shift part or totally their production. But additionally, in the last month, the US Department of Commerce announced its affirmative final determination on the new anti-dumping petition, which seek anti-dumping duties on imports of mattresses from 7 countries, which are Cambodia, Indonesia, Malaysia, Serbia, Thailand, Turkey, and Vietnam, as well as the countervailing duties of imports from China. This, of course, is posing different uncertainty on the future of the development of mattress international trade and also on companies' strategies. We would like to point out that some other non-Asian suppliers are increasing their flows to the US, their mattress flows to the US market. Indeed, in the last 5 years, US mattress imports from some non-Asian suppliers increase, even still represented, of course, a small share of the total US mattress imports. And I would like to point out that Turkey and Serbia, which are the 2 most important non-Asian suppliers of mattresses to the US, and also the 2 most increasing, are among the 7 countries covered in the new anti-dumping petition. Okay, I would like to conclude by presenting the major new development, the growth of e-commerce in the global mattress industry. This is a major change, almost a revolution within the industry, and it is going to have major effects on business strategies in the future. As anticipated before, CSIL has recently published a research study on this topic. It has been a challenging job and which has been conducted included multiple tools, from direct interviews with leading companies, both manufacturers and retailers operating in the e-commerce mattress industry, to the launch of an online survey at the end of 2020 addressed to global companies involved in e-commerce mattress sales. The analysis was also supported, as usual, by an in-depth desk analysis of CSIL databases and international press reviews. I selected this slide from the report, showing that the fast growth of online mattress sales that spread both across major and traditional markets and emerging one in 2019, but then in particular in 2020, and also during the month of lockdowns, together with the increasing popularity of bed-in-a-box, are among the major drivers that positively influence mattress demand in 2020 and the rebounding in the 2021. According to our last estimates, if we consider the B2C mattress market, the e-commerce mattress market worldwide is estimated to amount to approximately $10 billion in 2019, meaning 16% of the total mattress market at end user values. Among the mattress market studied, there are 7 countries where e-commerce for mattresses exceed $100 million. Of course, different incidences and performances are observed in the different geographical areas and countries. As you can notice, North America is the largest market for e-commerce mattress sales, followed by Asia Pacific, with China representing the lion's share of the area, and Europe with an e-commerce incidence of 13, an average 13%, is the 3rd largest market. When looking at the e-commerce incidence in the single markets, the United States, Germany, and South Korea show the highest propensity to e-commerce mattress sales. In the last 2 slides, I will present a selection of interesting online survey results conducted at the end of 2020 and addressed to leading mattress manufacturers and retailers operating in the online mattress market. The graph on the left side shows how respondents ship their mattresses. Nearly 60% of respondents sell mattresses compressed and rolled, the mattress-in-a-box. And these companies typically serve directly the B2C market. Among these companies selling mattresses in a box, about 75% sell both full foam mattresses and hybrid innerspring mattresses. This fact is partially in line with the continuous technological progress of the mattress supply industries, including, for example, technical advancement in enriching performances of foam for mattresses to be rolled up and boxed easily, and then recovery quickly without losses of comfort or support, to the development of new innerspring systems, also in combination with foam, to multiple purpose mattress machines for the production and packaging, as well as water-based adhesive, wrinkling-free fabrics, and zipper cover. This is just an example. And these technological progresses allowed companies specializing in the online mattress market to enlarge their product portfolio, and also including box innerspring mattresses and even more hybrid option. Because when e-commerce starts to develop 10 years ago, the option of full foam mattresses were the most possible, the most demanded. But now the technological progress allow companies to enlarge and to satisfy different needs from final consumers. And finally, when looking at 2021, and when we were asking companies giving their expectation about e-commerce mattress sales, About 70% of respondents will declared that they will increase the incidence of e-commerce sales out of their revenues. The figures on the right side selects the top 5 markets to which respondents assign high scores, 5 or 4 on a scale of from 1 to 5. The most promising markets, as you can see, for e-commerce sales of mattresses are the United States and India, a market where the e-commerce is spreading quite fast, which registered the highest scores. As far as Europe, Germany is the most mentioned market. These are just examples of topics covered by the research and by the survey. And other relevant questions included the e-commerce channel used between retailers or own website, or the most demanded services when selling a mattress online, like free return, free shipping, need of customization, and so on. We, as CSIL, constantly monitors the development of online sales and trends in major and emerging mattress market, and the results will be constantly updated and included in the next CSIL research. These are the available CSIL market reports studying the mattress sector. The first two we have talked about during this presentation about the first two, which are the World Mattress Industry and the e-commerce in the mattress industry. And the third one, the mattress market in China, is a specific study on the Chinese mattress market and the industry, and we update more or less twice every 2 years. The reports, of course, can be purchased and downloaded at our website that you can see in the slide, worldfurnitureonline.com. And I hope that, okay, I'm in time, and I would like to thank you very much for your attention. And as Simon said before, for me it would be a pleasure to answer your question and share opinion both by emails or directly on my LinkedIn page. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Giulia. That was really very interesting. For me, a couple of things really leap out at that. The first one is the effect that trade barriers between the US and China predominantly. We saw a lot of trade suddenly appear in places like Indonesia and Vietnam, maybe at the beginning of 2020 or the end of 2019, I think, when they came into effect. Was that real production, or was it just things being imported from China to Vietnam, sitting in a warehouse for a day and then being re-exported as from Vietnam?
Yeah, thank you for your question. It's difficult to answer because the effects on the last anti-dumping petition on duties on these seven countries and the countervailing values duties on the Chinese mattress imports is still under review. And what we can say is that during the first anti-dumping petition that occurred in 2018 and 2019 against China, we saw that largest mattress manufacturers and exporters strategically and quickly respond by realigning the production location to some of South Asian countries, in particular Vietnam, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia. But also there are some examples of important Chinese mattress manufacturers that set up mattress manufacturing plants, also in Europe, like in Serbia and Spain, and of course also in the United States, in order to serve directly these important markets without incurring anti-dumping or tariffs duties.
I guess it's a bit like playing whack-a-mole. You build a wall, and then people run up against it for a little while, and then they decide to dig under it and reappear. I mean, that must be the policy of some of the companies that have relocated production into the US.
It is, and it seems strange, but realigning a mattress production plant could be not easy, but the Chinese manufacturers move relatively quickly to those countries.
Sure. I mean, there's a real determination to keep selling into profitable markets, which makes me wonder why does the US export so few mattresses?
Thank you for this question. And first of all, it is worth mentioning that the US is not an export-oriented country, also for furniture. If we look the furniture industry, the ratio of export on the US furniture production is about 8%, well below the world average, which is 34%.
Oh wow!
And secondly, the US market is a huge and a rich market. It's by itself, and which is able to absorb nearly all the national mattress production capacity. Then I will add that, of course, the consumption patterns and the product futures are significantly different from those from, example, Europe, in terms of product peculiarities like sizes and kind of products, like the fast increase of box springs. Which, of course, made the US products difficult to export to other countries. And lastly, as I mentioned quickly during the presentation, largest US mattress manufacturers already establish own manufacturing plants or subsidiaries abroad in order to serve directly these markets.
Sure.
And the result is that the US mattress production is exported only for 2% of the total.
But I guess if you're a mattress manufacturer in Maine and you're trying to sell your mattresses into Oregon, for example, on the other side of the country, that essentially you are exporting from your state to another state, and you've got to meet the standards in the destination state, which are often quite different from the standards at home.
Okay.
For example, I imagine things like the Californian flammability regulations and so on are, could be different and seem to be coming up kind of
for sure
standard. Yeah. So bed in a box, that's obviously growing like a weed. It's absolutely astounding the way that I started on the magazine in 2013 and it hadn't really taken off, and now you're saying it's a significant proportion of mattress production. Is it just being driven really by people's laziness and demand for instant gratification that they get from people like Amazon?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Is the growth in bed-in-a-box mattresses being driven by people's just click on it, buy it?
Okay, yes, yes, for sure. As I said during the presentation, important development come from mattress industry suppliers, which allow companies to serve different customers' needs in terms of products. But the revolution here is the the way of selling mattresses. So the direct-to-consumer way, as you correctly mentioned, Amazon became one of the largest mattress retailer in the US, overpassing maybe 1 billion sales in the last years.
Wow.
And of course also important direct consumers startup, if you can say that they are startup, because like Casper or Daphne Needle and so on, Purple in the US, as in Europe we can mention Eve or Emma, become very important retailers of mattresses, which offer the sales directly to the final consumers. But we have to say that poor online sales, these poor online retailers are looking for brick and mortar partnership with physical stores in order to show the products, to test in the store, and so physical presence still remain important also for companies selling online.
Sure. I mean, you need to experience a mattress a little bit. It's a bit of an act of faith to buy something that's going to be a third of your life for 10 years on the click of a mouse, isn't it?
Yeah, when they started selling just online, after 1-2 years, most of the companies started to do partnership with physical retailers.
And what does it do to the economics of mattress distribution? A mattress is largely air with springs in it, isn't it? So it must be quite expensive to move from place to place. Are the bed-in-a-boxes more economical to shift?
Of course, yes. As I mentioned before, the technological progresses of mattress industry suppliers develop systems in order to compress and rolled and folded mattresses in order to reduce space, to reduce weight, and in particular, I would like to mention new systems, the development of systems for in-spring systems, which because when this growth of the online channel started 10 years ago, maybe or more, the most demanded and the most possible kind of mattresses were made just on foam, were fully foam mattresses. But now the increased need of diversify the product portfolio stimulated the mattress industry suppliers to increase the possibility also to ship also in a spring boxed mattress, in a spring mattresses to the final consumers, introducing micro coils, for example, or mattress machinery that are able to compress, fold, and roll also in a spring bed-in-a-box mattresses.
Well, that's really very interesting, because I was going to ask, if the bed-in-a-box mattresses are predominantly polyurethane with a cover, they're probably a lot simpler to dismantle, because that's going to be a big thing. I think if you look at what's happening with the need in Europe to be able to take mattresses apart, they're very complicated things. Do you see that? I mean, are these rolled mattresses simpler than conventional mattresses?
This is another story and another hot topic of across the mattress industry that it will take like one day of speaking.
I'm sure, because it seems to me at the moment that mattresses are sold as being carefully handcrafted by trained professionals, and they deliver you a beautiful thing. But in recycling terms, in fact, it's very hard to deal with, isn't it? Whereas if you just had a nice piece of foam in a nylon bag with a zip.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, sure.
It's not very sexy, but it would probably be a lot more recyclable. And I was also wondering just how, because one of the issues in the foam industry is that it's quite hard to send foam any great distance. So compressing foam is what's used. The economics of this, I mean, it's not going to be possible, is it, to make a mattress in China and then ship it into Europe or the US economically using a bed-in-a-box approach?
Yes, it is. I didn't get to your
could I, for example, set myself up a nice mattress manufacturing bed-in-a-box company in Western China?
Yeah.
And then import into Europe economically, do you think?
I think yes, but indeed, Chinese mattress manufacturers are largely export-oriented and still remain export-oriented also after the anti-dumping petition to the US, and of course the Europe could be important market for them, but as we saw in the presentation, still represent a very small share, even if increasing.
Oh, that's brilliant, Giulia. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you everybody who's been on this call. I'm sorry we started a little bit late. We had a few technical difficulties in London, which we manfully overcome. We seem to spend a lot of my time saying, is this thing on? But it is now, and we've had, I think, a very interesting presentation from Giulia. I hope to see you all at UTEC Middle East Foam and Polyurethane Expo in Dubai in October. You can see the dates of the 26th, the 28th. And thank you very much for your time, and take care, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Bye.